Hello everyone. Today we will be dealing with the last part of the chapter, that is we will first start with the criticism faced by the public distribution system, and the second part will deal with the role of cooperatives. Now while we will deal with the criticism which are faced, there are a lot of criticism. In the previous lecture we had talked about some of the advantages which this system has, but the negative aspect or the disadvantages, or you can say the criticism, surpasses whatsoever benefits these schemes have provided to the common people, right, through the public distribution system. We have approximately 10 criticism that we have witnessed over the years in the prevalence of these schemes, ongoing schemes. Some of them may be continuing till now. But apart from that, there are definitely certain loopholes that this system, the public distribution system, has with respect to distribution and the right targeting of the people. Here we will also refer to some of the common problems which are faced definitely by the people while they reach these shops, ration shops, public distribution through the public distribution system, and there are also some of the malpractices or some of the fraud means used at the end of shopkeepers while making these groups not avail facilities completely, right. So, we will begin with the first criticism this system has. Criticism, or you can say disadvantages of PDS. The first and the priormost loophole that this system has relates to that if there are so many schemes launched, instances of hunger still prevails. First, let us just write down all the disadvantages that these have. You can also at the same time note these down, because in our book this is given in the format of a paragraph. We can easily make points, and this can be an important subjective question which can be asked with related to your exams. So, an important topic. Despite overflowing granaries, the second disadvantage is rotting away and eaten by rats high Okay. So we have 10 disadvantages that this system is going through. The first disadvantage that the system is going through is that if there are so many programs which are launched by the government of India, like we had studied in the previous lecture example, Antyodaya Anna Yojana, Annapurna Yojana, etc., there are so many programs, poverty alleviation program. If so many programs prevail and if so much grain is distributed, so much commodities are distributed, but still we see instances of hunger. There is occurrence of hunger and it still prevails in our country. Although you can say we are moving towards a developing side, but if you see the longevity of the programs, have been much larger and the funds invested have been much larger than the expected outcome, right. So, the instances of hunger still prevails in our countries despite there are overflowing granaries. No doubt if we are lagging or if we do not have sufficient grains to provide to the people, definitely this can be a condition faced. But if you have overflowing granaries, then why is this condition prevailing, right? The second one is, since you have such overflowing quantities available, that basically over the years rots away, and in fact some of the instances have been that these are consumed by the rats. The third one is, the higher level of buffer stock maintenance definitely it is first a wasteful thing, due to that its quality will degrade after years. So, every year if you just go on purchasing and there is no consumption of it, it is considered as wasteful, right. And at the same time, if it is wasteful, it requires very high cost of maintenance, right. So, these 2 points are interrelated with each other. The most important negative aspect is, on the one side you say that you give minimum support price to the farmers, but is this minimum support price changing with the rate of inflation? No, it is not. The minimum support price is freezed for a fixed period of time and it does not change even if the inflation rate is high. Instead, it should be variable. Inflation rate is going on higher every year and you are keeping this support price, the name itself says that it is minimum. So, minimum will refer to that the minimum assistance it can give you monetary wise, right. It is just simply an assurance that if there is nothing, you will earn through this minimum support price. So, this is kept as freezing and it is a very big disadvantage for the person who is actually working hard and cultivating, right. The sixth point is, you will see definitely region specific development. Now, this is a very important thing to be considered. This is versus the regional development versus the national development. When we talk about development, it should be in terms of keeping in mind each and every region, right. You go on developing certain regions, be it in any sector. We are not only concerned about the food sector or the agriculture sector, it is related with each and every industrial sector, tertiary sector also. There is region specific development which is going on, which is a very big disadvantage. This will definitely have a fairer competition with the national development, right. When you are region specific, definitely what will be your topmost priority? The topmost priority will be based on just 2 crops, that is wheat and rice. Now, rice requires a lot of standing water to sustain. If this much standing water is required and all our focus is concerned only on rice, this will definitely lead to the degradation of the level of water. So, this also acts as a very big disadvantage. Apart from this, Wheat and rice does not comes under coarse grain. These are basically staple, right, for people even who are leading luxurious life. People for whom these programs are meant consume coarse grain, and the growing of those coarse grains are not encouraged at the same time, right. Moving on further, there are certain malpractices which are associated with the dealers who are at these fair price shops or ration shops. These dealers are engaged in collecting those buffer stocks, but not selling it in particularly those shops, but rather selling it in the open market where they can earn a better money from these fair price shops, right. So, this comes with the problem, this comes within the problem of the dealers. Moving on further, the quality is an important thing which is obviously compromised most of the time. So, there is a poor quality of grains which are sold at these shops, and often these shops are irregular. The interval is not fixed and the time period is also not fixed. So, even if a person wants to have access, it is not certain that that person can have access to these shops. So, we see high instances of irregular shop opening, right. Apart from this, an important role has been played by cooperatives. Now, what does the term cooperative mean? Cooperative simply refers to some of the initiatives which are being taken by the respective state government with leads to providing the people with not grains or not with anything related to agriculture, but it was related to the starting of other commodities like milk and vegetables. इनका सबसे पहला कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होगा कि इनको जनरली स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स फंड करती हैं. फर्स्ट आर फंडेड बाय स्टेट गवर्नमेंट. हमारे पास इन कुछ कोऑपरेटिव्स के एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, जैसे दिल्ली के अंदर मदर डेयरी is a supplier of milk and related items, plus it supplies vegetables and also some of the bakery items are supplied. Alright, we have one of the example of cooperatives as mother dairy. गुजरात के अंदर अमूल in itself is a very big cooperative sector, a very big cooperative unit which was started. So, these all cooperatives are basically started or initiated by the state governments, and their aim is basically to set up shops and sell the goods at lower price than market price. Alright, their aim is to sell the goods which are available and the price should be lower than the market price. Maharashtra has an important academy, which is known as Academy of Development Science, ADS. And this also is important since it launches programs for NGOs and train them. Right. So, we have some of the examples which are working as cooperatives, like we have in Delhi Mother Dairy, we have in Gujarat Amul, and in Maharashtra we have Academy of Development Science. This cooperative does not really provide commodities, but rather is helping these NGOs in developing and training, right. So, this was the last topic that we had dealt with in food security in India. We will begin with the next chapter in the next lecture. Thank you so much.